built to serve.
July 25th, Fox Saturday Baseball is back. Cubs clash with the Brewers. That's at 1. You got the Dodgers battling the Giants at 4. And the New York Yankees facing the World Series champs, the Nationals, at 7. Celebrate the return of baseball. Special tripleheader July 25th only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And we are back here with Coach Eric Mangini talking some Dallas Cowboys. Well, while Dak Prescott's been front and center the last couple of weeks, Dak's all-pro running back Ezekiel Elliott feeling a little slighted with what he's reading about himself. Don't read your mentions, buddy. That's what Nick tells me. Zeke tweeting to his critics yesterday, hey, check the stats. Since I entered this league, I have dominated year in, year out. Put some respect on my name. Nick, Zeke have a legit reason to feel a little underappreciated coming into this season?
Yeah, I think this is a combination of his Madden rating being a little lower than he wanted it to be, and that GM survey having him a little lower than he thought he should be. Zeke Elliott is paid and has produced as the best running back in football, and I think right now when people talk about the top 3 running backs in football, Coach, sometimes his name is left off the list, and I think that's what he's responding to. But as far as when you remove the pass-catching part from it, it's Zeke and Derrick Henry, and then everybody else. He probably needs to upgrade the pass catching a bit to be considered like Christian McCaffrey is right now and Saquon Barkley the way people want him to be. But I think that's what he's responding to, Coach.
When I saw this, my first thought was this is just something that good players do to find motivation when you have tons of money and you've had tons of success. And you saw it with Michael Jordan, and you see it with a lot of players that are exceptional, especially exceptional early. They have to find some sort of mountain to climb, some sort of disrespect to overcome. So there's an element of that when I saw it, because look, he's got a $90 million contract, $50 million guaranteed, and one of the reasons that Dak Prescott doesn't have a long-term contract is the respect that everybody gives Ezekiel Elliott. There's constantly conversation about how everybody stops Zeke, so therefore Dak should have that much easier a job as the quarterback. And to me, that's the ultimate tell here is the fact that they weren't willing to commit to Dak and the numbers that he wanted because of the respect that they have for Zeke and opponents have for Zeke, and how much of the success that team is attributed to him.
Wow. Okay, I like that, Coach. Hey, Nick, you know my favorite thing that you do is when you start a conversation by saying, my friends at EA Sports, and then we fast forward 1 minute and say, I don't even know if they watch football. They shouldn't even have jobs. Zeke did the opposite. Yeah. Zeke said, put some respect on my name, and then on the back end, he put up this tweet. Hey, I do appreciate the slander you guys hold me. On the slander, sorry. The standard. I appreciate the standard you guys hold me to. Though, LOL, but I promise you no one holds me to a higher standard than myself. It's like, oh, that's nice. So I think
he did it the wrong way, though, because most people didn't see that.
Go ahead.
He did it the wrong way. You got to do the compliment on the front end. Because, right, but you're the only one who's noticed that. Everyone else is just talking about the other. That's why you got to compliment on the front end, crush on the back end. If you crush on the front end, no one hears the compliment on the back end. So Zeke will learn as he gets older, Jenna. He'll mature in his social media.
Social etiquette from Nick Wright. Hey, you know who doesn't have to fabricate any motivation? This guy right here. The Patriots may have a new quarterback in Cam Newton, but they've got the same steadfast mantra in the Patriot way. Questions about Cam and Belichick getting along continue to swirl, despite the fact that both need each other to succeed. Both want to prove that they can still be winners. But even Cam Newton had some questions of how he and Bill Belichick would coincide. Take a listen.
My agent hit me. I was, no cap. I was working out. And he was like, hey, man, we just got an interest from a team. I'm like, okay, cool. Who? And he was like, New England. I said, hold up. Like, how is me and Belichick gonna mesh? You know what I'm saying?
Because that was the first thing I thought.
Because it's like perception.
But I think his perception of Belichick is not that. There is no like, how is it going to work? For me, all he want to do is put you in a place to succeed. Yeah. And I'm happy to see it.
12-4.
Coach, I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about this, so I'll just ask you the same question. How will Cam Newton and Bill Belichick mesh?
I thought it was funny that he said, no cap, I was working out. That made me laugh. No cap, Jenna is like, I'm not lying. That's like a new thing.
Did you just explain that?
He just defined no cap for you. That was great, Coach.
I mean, I didn't understand it, but I was going to let it go.
Oh, that was great.
Well,
that was perfect, Coach.
Your kid told you, Coach.
Exactly. I have kids at that age. Your kids are younger. I thought I would make sure you understood, but I thought that was
well, now I understand.
That was
start to it. And look, I had the same question and have the same question that Cam had. How are he and Belichick going to mesh? And I know Odell says that he's going to put you in a position to succeed. He is, assuming that you, A, are healthy enough to win the starting job, and B, part of being put in a position to succeed is being open to hard coaching and being open to coaching that is there for everyone to see. And it's very different, I would imagine. I don't know exactly what environment he was in Carolina, but I would imagine it's going to be very different than what he's used to. So if that's something that he can handle and it works for him, then I think he's got a great chance to be successful. It's not for everybody. I say this over and over again. It's hard. We heard the Eagles talk about how hard it is in New England. So you need to buckle up and be ready to deal with that.
Coach, when you say hard
go
coaching,
ahead,
do you mean like the stories of Tom Brady being sort of, I don't know if they're yelled at, but kind of having his mistakes shown in the film room, and that's not the norm across the NFL? Is that what you mean by hard coaching?
Yeah, there's that. Your mistakes are going to be pointed out in front of everybody, and that's not how it works across the NFL. And oftentimes, and in a lot of industries, oftentimes it's not as blunt as it's delivered in New England, and it takes an adjustment, and you need a thick skin because it's not done with a malice. It's done because it's the right thing to do collectively to point out everybody's mistakes, because we all have a responsibility to each other to be successful. And you want each player on the team to feel like the other person is being held accountable. That being said, in a era of stars and different types of treatment, it's not what guys are used to.
Listen, and I think that's a great point, Coach. And I do think that Cam, while no environment is New England, Cam's head coach for his whole career had been Ron Rivera, who's not exactly a softie. And now I don't know exactly how Ron Rivera handles those meetings, but Ron Rivera was a hard-nosed player, has been known as a hard-nosed coach, even though his players seem to really like him. So I don't think he's coming from an environment where he just walks all over everybody. But when people talk about the fit, I do think if the question is Cam going to be apt to accept the type of coaching that goes on in New England, is a fair question, and the answer to that has to be yes, or it won't work. I believe the question to that will be yes, which is why I think it will work. The other lane, Wilds, some folks are going down is, to me, the far less important, well, what about Cam's histrionics? So I've got a brief list here, Wilds, of guys that I'm sure you consider great Patriots. Aqib Talib, Asante Samuel, Corey Dillon, Lawyer Malloy, Julian Edelman, Randy Moss, Rodney Harrison, Rob Gronkowski. All those guys have a number of things in common. Two of them are they won Super Bowl or Super Bowls with New England, and the other one is they were very emotional, at times celebratory players. and they were embraced by the team because they produced. This idea that to play in New England, you have to be robotic and stoic on the field is belied by a body of work over 20 years. And so I don't think any of the tertiary Go ahead, Coach. Yeah, go ahead.
I coached a bunch of those guys that you're talking about, and I don't think that Asante Samuel, Rodney Harrison, Lawyer Malloy, were they known for their celebrations? Those guys were incredibly hard workers, and I think Asante may have transitioned a little bit personality-wise from when he was in New England to when he left New England in terms of how outspoken he was or how much he celebrated or any of those things. But and Lawyer Malloy came in under Bill Parcells, so it wasn't like he was a stranger to the approach that was there.
Right.
You know, what about
Asante
Thomas?
Samuel?
What about Michael Bennett? What about Chad Johnson? Okay. You know, there's a bunch of other guys that didn't fit in.
Coach, but you bring. Here's the thing about those guys. So Asante Samuel, to be fair, I am remembering him more as an Eagle than a Patriot. So maybe his personality was different early in his career. You were there, you would know that better than me. And when I think of Rodney and Lawyer was a great Patriot until they, Belichick, a couple weeks before the season cut him for salary cap reasons. But those guys, when they made a big hit or made a big play, you knew about it. But the guys that get brought up all the time, and it's fair, Chad, Adalius, the other guys, Albert Hainsworth.